Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. And by the way, right, the first hackathon, I went to my first hackathon when I was an intern at Amazon, like 7 years ago, and then I organized a hackathon about 2 months later, and the turnout wasn't as good as this. So I gotta thank you organizers because you guys did a great job. Can everyone hear me? Okay. So I'm Ji Woo. Next slide. So I'm going to start with this comic because I'm going to talk a little bit about AI and things like that. And this was a very landmark comic for VR, right? It goes, when a user takes a photo, the app should check whether they're in a national park. Sure, easy GIS lookup takes a few hours. And check whether the photo is of a bird. Yeah, I need research team in 5 years. So it gives you an idea of, yeah, AI is really hard and really easy, and it's like voodoo magic. And with the onset of deep learning, then it's even more of a voodoo magic. So who am I? I'm Ji Woo. I'm a co-founder of Maluuba. I guess past co-founder, I guess you're always a co-founder. I departed the company. We actually made the voice assistants, so the series and stuff for these guys. And eventually we veered over to do research, so like a deep mind of sorts for natural language processing, and collaborated with all these schools, which are deep learning schools in the world. And Maluuba eventually sold to Microsoft, so good. And right now I'm doing something new. And if you're interested in what I'm doing, then talk to me later. It's a little bit under wraps. So bot and AI hype. Everyone is talking about bots. Everyone's talking about AIs. It's a thing. And yeah. So lots of articles about them. Next slide. So the next slide. Okay, so I don't know very much about image recognition, but I will talk a little bit about natural language processing. And if you guys did some form of computer science, you'll probably know what this means, right? So, what natural language processing is the ability to take text and transform it into a function that a computer could understand, right? So, if you want to understand, I want to go to McDonald's for a burger, back in the 90s and early 2000s, they would solve this with a regex, right? So they'll take all the stuff they want and put asterisks on it and then say, hey, that's the template. And the recognition will be foul. If you want to see what it looks like, go into a car made from that era. And the voice recognition doesn't really work because it's foul. So, so how would you break this, right? Would like to go to McDonald's for a burger. You miss a word, sorry, it doesn't work. You add an extra word, it doesn't work, right? There's, the word is recognized wrong, it doesn't work. So, not good. So, and then statistical. So next people thought, oh, let's be a little bit smart about this. Let's add statistics, right? Let's be a little bit creative about this. So they use language features. So they say, okay, these are sub-sentence language features. So whenever you see I want to, it means desire indicator or something. Go to, it's a location marker. And what happens is for various things like entire domains. A domain is like restaurant. I want to go to a restaurant. I want to eat a burger. I want to get some chicken. I want to go to KFC. All of that. You probably need thousands of these to make it somewhat accurate. It's very intensive. This is the stuff that Google, Apple does. Previous slide. This is stuff that Google, Apple does, and Apple spends about $5 billion a year doing this. So very, very expensive. So, what breaks this? Let's grab a bite at Golden. Go back. It's okay. It's okay. Let's grab a bite at Golden Arches. If you've never seen a sentence before, really out there in the world, it's not going to recognize it. Next. I'll do this next time. And then let's talk about the teenage sex scenario that everyone's talking about deep learning. Deep learning can be used for everything. Deep learning is so cool. Everyone wants to do deep learning, and Google is trying to democratize. Hey, let's do TensorFlows. Let's do all kinds of stuff. So, what is this deep learning, right? Deep learning. The premise of deep learning is the ability to not have to identify those 1,000, 2,000 features yourself. If you just have data and you feed it to the machine and the machine could just extract the features by itself, then that would be really cool. So the idea is no more feature selection. So feature selection is now automatic. Embeddings. If you don't know what it is, now it's a keyword you can Google. Embeddings are automatically constructed ontologies. It's hopefully good at scaling. Next. So the product. Sorry. So why do we care about bots, right? The idea is, in product design, everyone's like, hey, let's make a web page that's easy to use. Let's put all the buttons here. Facebook's, Google, they spend a lot of money, moving things a pixel left, a pixel to the right. Something has to be green. It matters. Growth hacking was a thing, right? And the idea is, as information gets more and more dense, if you can go not traverse a tree but go directly to the leaf node, then that's awesome, and that's the premise of bots. So, we all know Siri, we all know, Google Allo and stuff like that. So this is a very, frequently tweeted thing from Siri. This is something you back in the day, people said to Siri, right? Siri, I'm bleeding really bad. Can you call me an ambulance? And the answer is, from now on, I'll call you ambulance, okay? Right? So and lots of laughs, and there's similar things. So I thought, that's very interesting. Let's see if Google solves that. So this is actually like a screenshot from Google Allo literally 2 weeks ago. So I'm bleeding. Can you call me an ambulance? Here is a result from the web. Oh, okay. And then it's like, can you call John? It's a voice recognition error. So it's like, okay, trying to make a call sort of works. I'm from Toronto, so I know what the CN Tower is, but it doesn't matter. I want to go to the CN Tower. I can help you learn more about the CN Tower. So clearly that doesn't work, right? I need monthly parking downtown. Sorry, I don't know how to do that yet. So, voice assistants aren't a thing that people use as much as people would like. So show of hands, how many people actually use voice assistants on a day-to-day basis? Okay. So the idea is the long tail is really, really long. All the things that you expect of a product like this is a lot. And what happens is it has to cover all these things. It's really, really difficult. And then, the most common scenarios are well-made, well-designed. $5 billion a year has to go somewhere, but the rest of the tail is super long. What are you going to do? So, if you say, hey, I want this in black, what is flexible life insurance? I have 20 minutes for an exercise. What can I do? Sorry, I cannot answer your query. So the long tail is essentially this thing. And if you call these things domains or abilities where, this is a restaurant, this is a movie, this is calling, this is texting, all of that stuff. And depth is, how deeply you support that capability, right? What happens is what users see in a voice assistant is this bottom little rectangle at the bottom left corner. And this is what users expect. So what happens is no voice assistant today actually supports what you expect, and hence, no matter how much money, how rich you are, it's gonna really work. So Maluuba got out of the voice assistant market really quickly. Back. So what happens is nowadays people are thinking, okay, this multiple domain, I can know everything, doesn't really work. We're gonna become really good at one thing, right? So, sorry. And that's actually one of the reasons why Alexa became really good, because Alexa says we'll be good at music, and people say, let's try music, and music works, lo and behold, right? The other stuff. I've never successfully ordered an Uber from Alexa, but, next. So 3 more slides. So for all of you guys, if you're interested in AI, if you're interested in NLP and you want to see, okay, what is, some innovations. So we talk about how to scale natural language. And there are, a few paradigms that companies are offering for natural language SDKs. So I want to talk about them and you guys choose, if you will, what do you guys want to use, right? So this is a model that Apple likes to use. It's called the I major domain model. Apple says, everyone's really stupid at making, doing machine learning because, machine learning is expensive and I don't trust you guys to do it because we need a good customer experience. So I'm going to make the domain, so the voice personal assistant, I'm going to make your domain, I'm going to make all these balls, and then you will plug your servers into one of these. And then, then the second model is, the Google model. I will, make your simple domain model. So Google will have really nice, sophisticated domains. And then in voice actions, they will allow you to input 10 sentences. So if, God forbid, somebody actually uttered one of your 10 sentences or something close to it, it will work. Other than that, it won't. I've never successfully ordered an Uber from Google Now. And then this is the I major, and you made your own, the bot store model, right? And this is the, what Facebook is doing. And Facebook says, you know what? How about you make your domains, you make your apps, and you just load it on Messenger, Facebook Messenger, and we'll call it a day. I will never be able to find you, and, happy go dandy. So, 3 different paradigms to make bots of today. Thank you.